Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Hmm? जी जी अच्छा तैयार हैं खदीजा बीबी जब हम्म जी बीबी जब पहनना चाहिए बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम नहमदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من احتكر حكرة يريد أن يغلي بها على المسلمين فهو خاطئ رواه أحمد. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whoever hoards grain to raise its price for Muslims is a sinner. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whoever hoards grain to raise its price for Muslims is a sinner. I will tell you in a second. عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من احتكر على المسلمين طعاما ضربه الله بالجذام والإفلاس رواه ابن ماجه. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu narrates, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying, if anyone hoards food from Muslims, Allah will smite him with the leprosy and want. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu narrates, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying, if anyone hoards food from Muslims, Allah will smite him with leprosy and want. Note, the hoarder is one who at the time of people's need, as grain is not freely available in the market, stores grain secretly, waiting for the prices to rise. So this is talking about, so this comes in the subject heading of warning on harming Muslims. So naturally we shouldn't be doing anything to harm people, and in particular Muslims, but so specifically for Muslims in general, for anybody, we should not be doing this type of thing. This is talking about a particular type of transaction where someone would get news that a caravan is coming with certain things, generally certain things that people need to survive, food, drink, or grains, sugar, so on. And what they would do is they would buy the entire amount, and then there's a law of supply and demand. The less there is supply and more demand is there, then the price goes up, kind of like with our RTX 3080, 3090, right? Sad wants to buy a video card. So there is a severe shortage of supply on the market, and there is a very high demand. So a card which normally should have cost $300-400, maybe 500, is going for over 1,000, and it's not available. Yeah, we saw one and it was for like 3,500 because of supply. There's a huge demand and there is a small supply. So if someone, he goes and he purposely buys all the grains and he stores them, and then he waits for the demand to go up, to go up, to go up, and then he says, now they need grain, they need to survive. If they need it, they're going to pay for it. And this is not right. Deen has told us, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has warned us against this type of behavior. They don't do it. If you're going to be hurting people, do not do it. So some scholars have gone so far as to say that this type of sale is impermissible, outright impermissible. Others have said that the sale would still be permissible. I mean, it would still be valid, but it would be disliked that someone goes and he harms the people, by gouging them, by selling to them at, many times the market rate, or what the market rate should have been. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وقف على أناس جلوس فقال: ألا أخبركم بخيركم من شركم؟ قال فسكتوا، فقال ذلك 3 مرات، فقال رجل: بلى يا رسول الله، أخبرنا بخيرنا من شرنا. قال: خيركم من يرجى خيره ويؤمن شره، وشركم من لا يرجى خيره ولا يؤمن شره. رواه الترمذي. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam stood beside some people who were seated and said, "Would you like me to distinguish between the best of you and the worst of you?" They remained silent. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked this thrice. A man then said, "Do inform us, O Rasulullah. Distinguish for us between the best of us and the worst of us." Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "The best of you is he in whom good hopes are placed, and from whose evil people are safe. But the worst of you is he in whom good hopes are not placed, and from whose evil people are not safe." Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam stood beside some people who were seated and said, "Would you like me to distinguish between the best of you and the worst of you?" They remained silent. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked this thrice. A man then said, "Do inform us, O Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Distinguish for us between the best of us and the worst of us." Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "The best of you is he in whom good hopes are placed, and from whose evil people whose evil people are safe. But the worst of you is he in whom good hopes are not placed, and from whose evil people are not safe." That people don't have any good expectation of him. Like this one guy who's always mean, he's always rough, um, and so people they expect that, okay, now I don't even feel like, I'm scared to go and talk to that guy, because if I talk to him, then I expect that he will just start telling me off, and I'm looking for him to help me out, and he's just going to defame me. He's just going to start putting me down in front of everyone else, and at the end he's not going to do anything. He's not going to help me out. So no good is hoped from him. Or it could be, it could be in matters like that. It could be in matters of anything at all. It's a general thing that any good is not really expected from him. That this person is known to be a bad guy. So you're like, I don't feel comfortable going to, because I know I'm just going to be killed. I'm just going to be, he's just going to insult me. He's just going to do this, that, and he's not going to do anything good. And likewise, it can be with respect to his character, that I'm scared to send my kid in the company of this person, because he doesn't do good. He has bad language, and he's like this and like that, and my kids will just learn bad things just seeing him. So I don't have any good expectations of him. So that's one. That's a general sense of what no good is expected from him, and then people are not safe from his evil. And the one from whom good is hoped, that you have an expectation that, I'll send my kids in his company and they will see good and they will become good. If I ask him for help, then he will help me out. He's not going to just start trashing me. He's not going to just put me down for no reason. So this is the sense of good is expected from him. So a person should, he shouldn't try to please people, because people's, their gauge for looking at someone else varies. That, oh, this person's like this, like that. He's good because he does this. That can vary. His marker of how good or bad he is should be with respect to the limits and those qualities which Allah demands from him. And as long as he is known to respect and to uphold those limits of deen, then this is, the good that should be expected, that should be hoped for many of us. That this person, he will, stick to the limits of deen. You know, he will not transgress those limits of deen. سمجھ گئے؟ جی خدیجہ سمجھ گئے؟ ہاں بہت اچھی بات. ہاں اچھا، یو سمجھ ایوری تھنگ. اچھا بہت اچھی بات ہے خدیجہ. اچھا، and one last حدیث. عن أبي جحيفة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أي الأعمال أحب إلى الله قال فسكتوا فلم يجبه أحد قال هو حفظ اللسان رواه البيهقي. عن جحيفة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أي الأعمال أحب إلى الله قال فسكتوا فلم يجبه أحد قال هو حفظ اللسان. Abu Juhayfa radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, which deed is the most pleasing to Almighty Allah? Everyone kept quiet and did not reply. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam then said, it is to guard one's tongue. Abu Juhayfa radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, which deed is the most pleasing to Almighty Allah? Everyone kept quiet and did not reply. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam then said, it is to guard one's tongue. So just as we mentioned that guarding one's tongue, freedom, the so-called freedom of speech, our understanding is slightly different than that of the French. That when some injustice is being done, then there is permission to speak out against it. Allah does not like, this is an ayat of Quran, that Allah doesn't like raising a voice, raising the sound of something bad, except for the one who is oppressed. Acha, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Ji, acha, so inshallah we'll leave it at that much. Ji, theek hai. All right, inshallah. So, inshallah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آپ کو سلام کرنا ہے سب لوگ کو. You like the butterflies I drew? Gee, I like the butterflies you drew. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.